Hey, welcome back to Daily Hope. Jesus has a word for you today about giving and generosity. And I know we talked a lot about that in our Breakthrough series. This is a little different. You might remember we're in this kind of sequence of things where Jesus says, if you respond this way, if you act this way towards people, it'll come back to you. I mean, non-believers would call it karma, right? Jesus says, hey, if you're super judgy with people, expect them to be super judgy and critical with you. If you condemn others, expect them to condemn you. If you forgive others, expect them to forgive you. And then he says in verse 38, give and you will receive. Your gift will return to you in full. Pressed down, shaken together to make room for more, running over and poured into your lap. The amount you give will determine the amount you get back. It's kind of strange language to us, but in this day, when people were putting grain into a big bucket, this happens to me when I make my smoothies. Bear with me on the analogy. You can only fit so many things in a bucket, and then you have to kind of shake it, and everything, because there's air bubbles, right? And things rest on each other. And the more you shake it, they all kind of settle to the bottom. Then you can pack a little more in, and you shake it again, and you pack a little more in. So when I make my smoothie, I always put my frozen fruit in first, and then I put in some like milk and almond milk and stuff. This is way too much information. And then I put in some of the different protein powders and things. There's always air bubbles in there. And then I have to shake it after I run the blender a little, and then the whole thing goes down, and then I pour some more stuff in. What he's talking about here is if you give to others, your gifts will come back to you. You've probably heard the phrase, you can't outgive God. Your gifts they have a way of coming back to you. And so then what Jesus is saying here is, as you're living a generous lifestyle, you're actually going to press down all that's been given to you. You're going to have to shake it together to make room for more. And then the liquid will actually be running over. You're thinking, oh, there's more room in there for liquid, and it'll be poured into your lap. And I don't know all the details here, but with the grains and the other ways they kept wine, this all made a lot of sense to the people at the time. But the point is this, the amount you give will determine the amount you give back. Very interesting. See you tomorrow.